Hey guys, Mr. Rysz here. I'm going to help you guys out with the next activity, so the Python 2 activity. I'll go through exercise 1, question 1, and table 1 just to help you guys out. So I'm going to go ahead and open those up and walk you through. We'll save exercise 2 as a separate video. All right, so here we go. Strings can also be numbers, which is kind of weird to think, but yeah, strings are numbers. So we're going to write a program where the input uses their first name, second name, and phone number, and the program adds, or what's known as concatenate, these together. So let's open this up and see what this looks like. I'm going to actually close these other windows here. Okay, so we're going to copy and paste this code in so we can see what this does. Okay, so if we look here, is if we have A equals Alan, B equals Devonshire, and C equals A plus B, if we run print C, we get Alan Devonshire. So one thing about this is strings can be added together. Now that's called concatenating, by pushing things together, and we just use the plus sign in between. So we take C as A plus B put together, as long as they are both strings. So if we want to try another one here, this would be a good thing to use to help us out with the problem. All right, let's run this. So we get, all right, yeah, we somehow get this error every time, but okay, enter the first name. Okay, so I'm going to type in my first name, Justin. Enter the last name, Rysz, which you see is A is the first name, B is last name, C equals A. Oh, I stopped it. Why did I stop that? Let's try that again. First name, Justin. Hey, we didn't have the error there. Rysz. Full name is Justin Rysz. All right, so this should actually help us out here. We're going to kind of use that as an idea. So we're going to make a string. So write a program where the user inputs their first name, second name, and phone number. The program concatenates these and puts them together, prints their name and personal number in one line. So, okay, well, let's change this. Let's make another thing called, I don't know, P here equals input. What is your phone number? And then we'll say like C equals A plus B plus P for phone number. And then we just need to print it off in one line, so we don't need to have this. Full name is just C. So let's run this. Full name, Justin. Last name, Rysz. 740-681-7500. There we go, all together now. So concatenation is just putting strings together. All right, so make sure you guys submit that, and we'll move on to the next question. All righty, so here we go. We're going to answer this one. Oh, no. Next. There you go. Question 1. So we're going to run the program. We're going to note a couple things. Alrighty. And we're going to answer this question. So we can look at this, in fact, or we can close this. Let's just run this here down, because we would answer this question. For you guys, you'll have to put it, submit answer here. But let's run this. It says enter a number. All right, so we'll enter a number like 4. Enter a number like 7. Now it says C equals A plus B. So normally we would think 4 plus 7 is 11, and we'll press enter, and we get 47. So we just have to answer this. We don't have to change the code at all. All right, what would we have to do to be able to print the sum, or 11, of A and B? So do you guys remember what we would have to do here? What's the problem? So if you want to pause and think about it, I'll tell you the answer in 3, 2, 1. All right, remember, anytime you get an input, it's automatically going to save as a string. And when you add strings together, it just concatenates them. So to actually add the numbers together, we'd have to change them to integers. So we would need a step beforehand of like A equals the integer. Oops. Oh, no. We'd have to change it to like A equals the integer of A, and then B equals the integer of B before we can add them together. So now if I run that program, 4, 7, now we have 11. All right, next, here we go. All right, so this one here I have set up, and I want you guys to complete the table and use some examples here and some things you might have to know. So if I run this, might be kind of hard to see here, but we end up making a table on here, but we got a bunch of blanks. So I want you guys to put the data type, the abbreviation, and example in the table. So we got an integer and a float, a string, and a Boolean. So pause, and we're going to type in our answers here of examples. So when we complete this, it will work out as right. So, all right, so let's think of what an integer is. An integer is any whole number without a decimal. So just any whole number that you can think of. 740 is a whole number. A float is any decimal number. So any number that has a decimal, it doesn't matter how big or how small, as long as it has a decimal, like 14.583 is a decimal. So a float is just a decimal number. A string is a word, so we can use any word like yellow. Well, let's just put banana. That's a word. Even the word 7 is a word. And then what is a Boolean? All right, you might have to Google this one. I'm seeing if anybody knows. Boolean is a true or false statement. So that's going to be bigger later on. So now if we run this, you can see we actually create a table here. Come on, here boy, let's go. Sometimes these take a while to think. We're running a shell with it. Like we think about, we're running a Python editor in a Ripple shell, which is in a canvas that's also being recorded through Zoom. Let me stop and try that again. Oh yeah, it's really logging out. But those are the examples there. Okay, so that should be the end of it. All you got to do is just make a table like that, and I'll check your answers off. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, and we'll do exercise 2 next video. And if you need some help with that, all right, best of luck, guys. You guys are doing great. See you now.